All right, now we're going to work with the scanned or photograph, whichever picture you brought in of your drawing. So this is a new file that I've made here, and my original drawing was quite big, so I've chose a 22 by 30, and I have 22 by 30 there, and again I'll go File to Place and place my image that I have. And here is my original drawing, so I'm going to place it in the top corner. And even though I made a really big page, you can see her head is quite large here, so I will resize that. And it looks like I'm going to have to stretch her down some that way. If I hold down my shift key as I am doing this, it should put her there without distorting her too badly. That looks fairly good. So I'm going to go ahead and click any one of these to make the little handles go away. And I want to resize my artboard or my background so that it fits it right quick, so I don't have to struggle with that. So that's what this little cross tool does, is it allows you to resize that artboard to fit your image. And that is all complete, so I will lock my layer and it's good to go. That I can work with my drawing there. Now I'm going to create a new layer to draw on, and we can begin the same way that we did with the eye. I would zoom way in and do one thing at a time. Possibly the first thing to decide to do would be a nose, an eye, a lip, an outline. And you don't have to fill in every line. You could make a line be a layer by itself. So if I zoom in, now I can make this look just like a black and white pencil drawing, or I could do it in color like I did the other. This one I'm going to choose to be a black and white drawing and draw the whole thing that way. And then do, for the other drawing I did to do the color, to show you both applications there. So since their lips are right here, I could trace them the exact same way with the pen. And got a new layer here, so I will do that. I can start and follow along pretty carefully. And again, you see the white is causing problems. So I am switching it to no fill, so it will not get in the way of my anchor points that I'm adding here. All right, and see, when I zoom in even more, you can see I've made a mistake, which is good because I can go back and fix it now. And see, this anchor point here is way above where it should be. So all I have to do is click on it, and that allowed that anchor point to go away, and that one as well. And now I can come back and put it on. All right, did not do that right. I hold down my pen tool. I've deleted an anchor point. I can add an anchor point and come in and put it. All right, so I now have an anchor point. It's just not in the right place. So what I need to do is move and transform that anchor point. So here is a free transform tool. And that allowed me to come and move that anchor point to where I want it to be. So it's not quite following my path. I can do the same thing. I can come back and add an anchor point on the path, and then I can come to the free transform and then move that anchor point up on the path and transform it to exactly where I want it to be. And get my drawing a little bit cleaner. So everywhere that is off the line, I could come and adjust it, which is really, if you're using your pen tool correctly, what you want to be able to do once you've seen it. That if it doesn't look like it's in the right place, add the anchor point, transform it, and get it in the right place. Transform the path. And adjust your path the way that you want it to be, so it will be as smooth as possible. All right, and then if I'm going to try to make this look like a black and white drawing, then I'll come to my stroke and choose black or gray. And now there is my fill line. And we can decide whether that is clean enough to work for my drawing. That if I'm unhappy with it, remember that I can come under Effect and I can go to Stylize and round the corners a little bit and see if that cleaned it up more. That I didn't select it, so try it again. Apply round corners. And that should get rid of any zigzags or anything in there. That is pretty close to my pencil drawing line there. That if I think my line is a little too thin, I also then can select that and click on the line box. And I am not seeing my strokes, so I'm going to come down here and look for stroke swatches. There's the weight there of the stroke, so I could come and choose a 2-point stroke or a 3-point stroke and make my line thicker depending on how thick I want my drawing to be. Now I mentioned that here's my strokes. I also want my layers to show. There's my layers. That you could put in a line without having a fill. So I can lock that down, and if I want there just to be a path from here to here, I can add that in as well. I'm going to make sure that's back on the pen tool, and then I could add a path along that line. And lock it down so that I've got that line just by itself. I could add that to that line if I wanted to, or I can make it on a layer by itself. So if you look at the background, oops, my pencil line is a lot more jagged compared to, because I use that smooth tool on it, compared to the drawing I've done so far. And I would just continue the drawing much in the same manner as we did before. That this one I'm just going to make black and white. So I'm going to continue with my pen tool along my lines. If I'm that far off, like I was on that, I'll undo it. Come along with my anchor tools. And I think that's it. So I'll lock it to turn it off right quick. And now look how zigzaggy it is. So to be more organic like the face, then I'll apply the rounded corners to it. I first have to select it and then look at it. And then that was much nicer job of the line tool there. I think I need a little one right there as well. All right, so it has more of a prettier gestural effect to it, and I can continue to do the same thing, that I will draw the nose and everything along through the piece and finish the piece just as a drawing. Have fun.